base in Crimson Desert, it's one of the most important aspects about the game. Whether you like base building or not, I'd say that to some extent there's going to be some optionality here, but there's many things that you would want to engage with the base if you actually want to enjoy everything that this game has to offer. Have in mind that Crimson Desert is built in the foundations of Black Desert, and from a former Black Desert online player, I can tell you that that game was basically a live medieval simulator if you took out the combat outside from it, because you could get rich just by selling and trading and fishing, and some of the aspects that they take and they draw from that game and then place them in here, they have been refined so that would function in a single player game. Now I'm going to try to condense this information as much as I can humanly possibly can, and we're going to be discussing once the game launches how to actually engage with each and every single one of these activities for you to get the most out of them. But for now, let me just give you an idea of what is it that these activities are going to give you and why should you be engaging with them. So first we have hunting. So hunting, it's just the main pillar of your progression. It's the primary source of high tier crafting materials needed to upgrade Cliff's weapon and armor. It's not just loot. It provides the Greymanes, your mercenary bands, with the necessary rations to maintain high morality and combat readiness that we'll talk about your recruits later on, but this is actually you actively going out into the world, finding materials and actual sustainability for your band before you actually make your warband function in a automatic way, which then again talk about this a little bit later. It has also been said that there's I kid you not, more than 400 unique species that include several rare items that you are going to need to upgrade your gear, but most importantly, it also extends to you being able to tame legendary creatures like bears. Yes, you can tame and use bears and use as mounts, raptors, and also dragon, because taming is an important part about this game. Another way that you can actually provide your base before you actually establish something, it's fishing. Fishing serves as a strategic way to acquire high-level cooking ingredients that provide crucial buffs to your character. Remember that this game has a dynamic weather system. This dynamic weather system is also going to impact the gameplay, such as what you would see, for example, in Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, where there are certain places that you cannot go if you don't have the proper gear or the proper equipment. If you actually fish properly and you start leveling your fishing, then you can start leveling your cooking as well, not only to provide your encampment with high morality and stability for food, but also to get food buffs for your main character. Also, you can catch regional specific fish that are going to change based on the dynamic weather system. There's going to be legendary fishes that you can find out there just during thunderstorms, for example. This is also one of the daily activities that are going to level up as you use them, and this is going to give you access to more complex fishing materials and fishing rods so that you can try to get higher tier of fishes out there in the world, which is really cool. So remember that this game is based region level, so if you didn't engage with fishing on the first regions, then you're probably not going to be able to engage with the highest, more difficult to get fishes on the later regions in the game. So you should probably start to fishing on the first region of the game and then progress through it. And then we have livestock and ranching. This is a passive engine. If you establish a ranch within your camp where you're going to be able to grow your own food and also keep animals that are going to continue giving you a steady flow of high quality meat and things that you can supply your camp without having to actually go out there, hunt, fish, and do stuff like that. There's also talks about it. Remember that there's taming animals in here. You can get them in here, and the animals have specific skills, especially the horses, and the actual mounts that you find in the world. I haven't really encountered any official information, but there's like this possibility and talks of you being able to breed horses to apply some skills and combine those skills to make more powerful mounts and things that you're going to send out there with your recruits once you have recruits. Then again, talk about them in a little while. So once you actually get those recruits, you can actually get them to manage that camp, and this is going to give you base sustainability without having for you to actively engage in it if you don't want to. Because here's where it gets interesting. You don't hire faceless NPCs for you to build into the Greymanes. You want to build a warband in here. And the potential recruits that you are going to find them, you're going to find them through several activities out there in the world, and they're all going to have their own background, personalities, specialities, and things that they're going to be able to bring to the missions. If you find them, if you dispatch them to the missions, you can actually capture outposts in the world that are going to give you more presence, and you can build your reputation that much faster. But it's also like you can actually gather resources by dispatching them into missions where you can send them to actually gather these previous resources that then again, I've told you that you can actually actively get them yourself, but if you don't want to, then you establish your recruits and then you send them to do that for you. But you need to upkeep them, and they need morale. So they need food, they need shelter, they need pay, they're going to cost money, they're going to cost you food, and that is why you are going to be needing a ranch. You need to be able to grow food so that you can be able to maintain them. It is also very important to have them because there is a node management system that it is going to sound very familiar to you if you played Black Desert Online, where you can actually send your wagons to sell goods that are going to change the economy of the world. As you can see with this picture that I have for you right in here, then you're going to be selling stuff to certain different locations. Certain different locations are going to buy it at a higher price than others where it's more scarce or where you have been selling way too much, but your wagons can get assaulted throughout the way, so you can send your recruits to actually capture fortresses, make things more safer for your wagons to actually not get ambushed in between the roads. Hunting, fishing, and exploring, it's also going to allow you to get materials for you to engage into alchemy, and alchemy is going to give you potions that are going to give you buffs, but it's also where you're going to produce the dice for you to be able to customize your characters. So if you want to customize your characters, I can't say for sure that you're not going to be able to customize them if you don't engage into alchemy, but yeah, if you don't engage into alchemy, if you don't engage into all of these systems, you're not going to get the best out of everything. The wagons, you can actually customize the wagons, the colors, and the actual wheels that they have. Like everything that I've told you about, everything is fully customizable, and you can actually engage with it individually. All of this goes to your main character. Why do I want to use this with my main character? First and foremost, like I mentioned, with cooking, you're going to be able to survive some weathers that you're otherwise are going to have a whole bunch of issues. Also, upgrading your character, upgrading your gear. If you don't actually, I'm guessing, like this is a hard guess, if you don't actually want to engage with hunting that much, and once you have managed to establish a camp that is going to be working on its own, they can gather those resources for you, and that's a way that you can passively improve the gear and the armor and the weapons of your character without you having to actually go out there and get the materials. However, then again, we have talked that in hunting there's going to be rare enemies, and some animals are going to be possibly rare bosses that are going to give you rare materials for you to upgrade that gear. And if you think about it, a great huge deal of the usage of the base in Crimson Desert, it is entirely optional, because most of these features that I've talked about right now, you can actually actively go and get them by yourself. Like for example, hunting or fighting those bosses for you to get the materials for you to upgrade your gear, you can actually actively go there. But having something that it is going to gather all of that stuff automatically for you, I think that it is going to be a game changer, and having such autonomy on the base and being able to gather all of those resources and materials is going to diminish by a whole lot the exploration, allowing you to focus on what is it for the exploration of the world, what is it that really interests you the most, rather than having to find for certain animals whenever you're stuck where you're not going to be able to upgrade your gear, or whenever that you want to travel to somewhere but you don't have the correct potion because you're not resistant to that weather. The camp is going to give that for you automatically. Like, being able to manage all of this through the camp, it's amazing, dude. I think that you should engage with the camp if you want to enjoy the most out of Crimson Desert. Anyways, if you like the content, I like and I would super appreciate it. And also, you that you're a gorgeous and beautiful person. You're indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Subscribe to the channel, join Discord, have a beautiful day, and goodbye.